Is this enough to knock out Greedent? Bang! Yes it is, the fat squirrel catching all the smoke right there. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, and if you're a returning subscriber like Tiger Hill, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are shoutcasting some battles in the Open Ultra League featuring a team with Pangoro. These battles were submitted to the channel by Shower Singing 73. There will definitely be no shower singing in this video, however there should be some very fun battles featuring this ABB style team with Gengar in the lead and double fighting in the back. Of course, one of the biggest threats to this team will be fairy types, and in theory you would be looking to lure one of those out using Machamp as the safe switch, at which point Gengar will come back in. Aside from bulk, this team has a pretty decent rating on PvPoke, so it should make for some entertaining battles. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. Now without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so let's jump into these battles. We are leading Gengar with double fighting in the back, Machamp plus Pangoro. On PvPoke, you could see this team does have a lot of weaknesses right here. In particular, a fairy type in the back is very bad if you're not able to lure it out. And flying types, of course, could also be an issue for this team comp. So right here we have a Scizor in the lead. So although this is a neutral matchup for Gengar, with a team comp like this, you are going to want to swap out into the Machamp because you're trying to lure out the potential hard counter to the fighting type. Typically what you're going to be targeting is a fairy or psychic type. In this case, Cresselia is a perfect example of something that could cause big issues for this backline. So just going to spam out a couple of rock slides here, do as much chip damage as possible, and then let the Cresselia take us out. Because they are running Psycho Cut, it's a pretty difficult farm down, so they are forced to throw energy right here, and they show that they are running Grass Knot. That most likely means that they are running Grass Knot plus Moonblast, in which case Gengar doesn't really need to shield anything. See, Moonblast doesn't do too much, and going to overfarm here and then throw the Shadow Punch on the potential CMP tie. Actually going for the undercharge here, looks like the opponent actually shields on the CMP, so Gengar is going to shield up here and then commit to the farm down, have a bit of energy ready to go for the Scizor, but swaps out instead into the Pangoro. So the opponent is going to throw a move right here, doesn't need to shield, it is a Night Slash, takes that very well, and it's a Registeel in the back. So going for the Night Slash bait right here, hopefully you get a shield from the opponent. One close combat from the Pangoro actually is not enough to knock out the Registeel. However, we did get the attack boost here, so at this point, these close combats are going to hurt quite a bit. Builds up to 2 here, could throw back to back if the opponent decides to shield, but they let it go down instead. Scizor comes back in, going for the Night Slash right here, which deals a huge amount of damage, able to farm down with the Snarl. And Pangoro showing its worth right there in battle number 1. With Snarl and 2 low energy cost moves, this thing is going to be very dangerous as a closer for the Ultra League. And speaking of dangerous, this is a pretty tough lead right here. Gengar into Obstacle, going to swap out into the Pangoro. The opponent brings in a Gallade. This is not an ideal matchup for the Pangoro. Just going to look to spam a couple of Night Slashes right here. And let's see if they try playing for switch. It would be very difficult, but it looks like they are going to shield the first Leaf Blade right here. And then build up to another 2 Night Slashes, I would imagine. Oh, they actually allow the opponent to throw first. This is not good. Is going to double shield right here. And should be able to reach 3 Night Slashes at this point. Let's see if that is enough to take switch. They get the attack boost, so the opponent probably going to let this go down here, I'd imagine. Yes, they do. So they take switch. They are down a shield, but now they get to align the Machamp onto the Obstagoon. It's a Trevenant in the back. Boosted Night Slash is going to get the shield. They swap out to Obstagoon, and now at this point the game should be over. Machamp going to come in right here, tanking all these moves from the Obstagoon. Pretty much could just completely farm down here and then get off a Rock Slide against that Trevenant. Obviously having payback would be pretty nice in this moment, but that's okay. Rock Slide is going to do enough damage here to put this in a range where a Night Slash from Pangoro should be enough to KO. You'll come in here with the Gengar to tank a potential Shadow Ball, at which point you should outpace the Trevenant to the Night Slash and win this game. Here it comes. Pangoro with that little bamboo stick in its mouth. Bang! There it is. Night Slash taking out the Trevenants. Off to a 2-0 start here with this team. Let's hop into battle number 3. So jumping into this next battle, we will be leading Gengar this time into a Ninetales, Kanto, Shadow Ninetales. So let's see how this plays out. Going to swap out into the Machamp. You can see right here, the idea is to swap out immediately, and we get met by a Talonflame. So a double fire team here for the opponent. This is pretty interesting, and I do believe Machamp could actually win this matchup just going straight Rock Slide, so you don't even need to bait with Cross Chop, and we could see Machamp potentially take switch advantage right here, but they may decide to just instead get the double shield, then come in with the Gengar, and look to start building up a big energy lead. Gengar, of course, a Pokemon with a high attack stat like that, is very dangerous. Trying to get to the Shadow Punch right here. Unfortunately, the Talonflame is going to get off this Flame Charge first, which is going to force the shield, and now able to throw another Shadow Claw in the middle of the Incinerate animation, which means that the Talonflame goes down, the Incinerate does not register, and it is a Ferrothorn in the back. So Shadow Ball will deal some big damage right here, and going to swap out into the Pangoro. Now let's see how much damage this does to Pangoro. It is quite glassy. Thunder coming through does about 50%, and Ninetales comes back in. Is a close combat enough to take out a Shadow Ninetales? No, it's not. The opponent CMP tie. This is actually a good spot for the opponent to try undercharging, which they do. That is a very nice play. But can they reach the Weather Ball? No, they are not able to. Gengar farms down, reaches this Shadow Punch. Is this enough to take out the very tanky Ferrothorn? It is not. Race to the charge move right here. Instead, the Gengar farms down, able to take that game. 3-0 start here with this double fighter team. Gengar in the lead. Let's hop into battle number 4. Gengar into Talonflame right here. Let's see how this match plays out. Again, this is a situation where you kind of want to stay in because it's a decent matchup for Gengar, but at the same time, you kind of need to swap out into the fighter with a team comp like this. So they do go for the Shadow Ball. Talonflame does shield. Gengar is going to shield as a result in return. And now you're in a tricky spot because if you swap out, you're taking boosted damage from the Talonflame onto the Machamp. So decides to stay in here instead with the Gengar. And now you're pretty much just gambling, hoping that they do not have a hard counter for fighting in the back. Pangoro comes in, going to look to throw this Night Slash. Hopefully this is enough to take out the Talonflame, and it's not, but able to farm down before the Talonflame reaches another move. That is a huge break right there. Felt like they might have gotten to the move, but it's a Charmer in the back, a Alolan Ninetales. Close combat deals big damage, but this game looks like it's over. The Pangoro basically disappeared there. Machamp needs this Cross Chop to knock out the Ninetales, which it does, and it's a Superior in the back. Is Machamp able to win this in the 1 vs 0 shields? Going for the Cross Chop right here. Needs to reach another move. Is going to shield up right here. Is a Rock Slide enough to take out Superior from this range? Able to reach the move. This should be a CMP tie if this does not KO, and it doesn't. Superior hanging on with just about 5 HP, going to take this game. But considering there was an Alolan Ninetales in the back, that game became extremely close despite being super weak to that. So shout out to this trainer for making that battle a nail biter in the end. But as you could see, staying in those neutral matchups with Gengar in the lead could be very risky if they have a hard answer to fighting types in the back. In this case, we have Cresselia in the lead. This is a pretty nice matchup for Gengar. So we are seeing the Shadow Ball come through. That is a delayed bang right there. Cresselia though does survive. Moonblast coming through, is able to farm down with Shadow Claw, and now swaps out into the Machamp against a Clefable. This is technically the correct play. You do get off this Rock Slide, and then you're able to come back in with the Gengar. Of course, the opponent could swap out here, at which point Pangoro would be in a pretty rough spot, but the opponent looks like they are staying in. So Gengar is going to shield here. Of course, you either need to get the shields here. I mean, you'd rather they don't shield this or else Pangoro is going to get wrecked. The opponent does shield, is able to reach a second Shadow Punch right here. Hopefully the opponent lets it go, and they do. So Clefable is out of the way, and it's a Melmetal in the back. You love to see it. Going to tank a potential superpower right here. Could be a bait. It is the superpower. Pangoro survives. Going to build up to 2 close combats right here. Shield up the move, and this should be more than enough, especially after the defense drop from superpower to knock out the Melmetal. First one gets the shield, second one in Razor Ramon style Bang! There it is. Rest in peace to one of the wrestling goats. Pangoro paying tribute with that little bamboo toothpick in its mouth. 4-1 start in set number 1. So jumping into set number 2, honestly, I am pretty intrigued by Pangoro and I would like to build one after seeing how it's performing thus far in this video. We are leading with the same team here in the second set of battles. That's a pretty challenging lead. Going to swap out into the Machamp right here. Rock Slide does do slightly more damage, but Cross Chop is technically a bit more energy efficient, so you could go for either move right here. Does call the bait right there with the Acid Spray. I mean, Dark Pulse is resisted anyway, so it's a pretty standard no shield there. Goes for the Rock Slide. The opponent does decide to shield it up and is able to reach a second Rock Slide. To be honest, I would probably let this second move go through as well, because I don't think a Dark Pulse would KO from this range. However, if they reach another move right here and it is a Dark Pulse, it likely would KO. So it is going for the safe play here, which is to shield. It is another Acid Spray, that's fine. The defense is extremely low at this point. It's a Wall Rain coming into a Machamp, so this is an interesting play from the opponent. These Cross Chops are going to hurt. They're going for a very aggressive farm down, which means another Cross Chop coming through here. Opponent is forced to shield that up, and now they're basically very low in the red. Comes in with the Gengar. Earthquake with one shot, will survive an Icicle Spear. Now swaps out into Pangoro. Interesting play is going to be, okay, going to no shield right here instead. That deals a decent amount of damage, but it's a Melmetal in the back. This game is over. Just needs to build to 2 close combats right here and basically win this game. I guess they're probably going for the Night Slash here because close combat might actually not be enough to KO from this range. So just going for the safer play, which is Night Slash, close combat, and then pretty much farm down with the Pangoro here, or reach another Night Slash against the Wall Rain. Wall Rain is dry energy, so going for the very respectful, no bubble Night Slash KO on the Wall Rain. You love to see it. Able to get off to a 1-0 start here in set number 2. Let's hop into the second battle. So leading Gengar this time into a Shadow Snorlax. Horrible lead, so going to swap out into the Machamp. And the opponent comes in with a Melmetal against Machamp. So this is either a misclick or a team that is extremely weak to fighting. So we're about to see if this is a triple weak to fighting team right here. Goes for the Thunderbolt, that is spicy. Here comes the Cross Chop onto the Melmetal, takes it out, and the opponent is going to come in with a Dragalge. Okay, so that definitely was a misclick from the opponent right there. You would want to come in with Dragalge instead. However, what you may notice is that the team would be double weak to fighting after in the back, so Pangoro might have been able to win this matchup anyways as an ABB team once we got rid of the Dragalge. So this seems like a team comp that you probably would win against regardless of how it plays out, but one way would look a lot closer than the other. So going for the Shadow Punch here against the Dragalge and able to reach another one right here, going for the Undercharge, which is a very common theme for this player. I mean, the Undercharge in this case doesn't matter because it's enough to KO even without hitting any bubbles. Pangoro into Snorlax, going to shield up the potential superpower. Does get baited with the Body Slam, building up to 2 close combats right here. The first one will get the shield and the second one is going to land harder than a Razor's Edge from Razor Ramon. Bang! There it is. Close combat, taking out the Snorlax. You love to see that. Off to a 2-0 start. I believe 2 wins might be more than Manchester United has accumulated thus far in 2022 for the Premier League, so that team is in shambles. Another draw today against Leicester City. 4th place may be completely out of the question at this point. Let's just blame Maguire like we usually do. Machamp into Wall Rain, going for the Cross Chop right here. Opponent is going to shield it up and build up to potentially an Earthquake, so Machamp will shield in return and look to get off this Cross Chop right here, which should be enough to take out the Wall Rain. And now they will come back in with, or they'll come in with a Giratina altered instead. This is not great for Machamp, going for the Rock Slide right here. Giratina could potentially just farm down completely, but they are going to throw the move instead, preserve some health on the Giratina, and they do farm down. Now Pangoro has a very good matchup against a Shadow Claw Giratina. The opponent swaps out into Lucario and Gengar comes back in. Giratina is loaded on energy. So going for the Shadow Punch right here, and the opponent actually shields that up. So is going to call the Shadow Ball right here from the Lucario, calls it correctly, and going to build up to another Shadow Punch. The opponent throws early, which means this is only a power-up punch, which means Gengar could safely commit to the complete farm down now, is going to win CMP tie, and all that energy on Giratina is going to go bye-bye. Bang, there it is. Actually stopped tapping bubbles at a great. Knocked out a Giratina with a half charge Shadow Ball from 50% HP. Absolute insane attack stat there on the Gengar. Let's hop into the next battle. Gengar into Swampert. This is not a great lead for Gengar by any means. It is going to build up to the Shadow Ball, shield up this Hydro Cannon. And the thing about Gengar is that a lot of people run Sludge Bomb, Focus Blast, so sometimes you will land the Shadow Ball on unsuspecting opponents, like right there, able to take it out. But there's a Charmer in the back, so when Machamp comes in here, this is definitely a winnable spot because you'll get off this Rock Slide right here, at which point you could come back in with the Gengar, but getting to this Cross Chop is very nice right here. Even gets a shield from the opponent. You love to see it. Gengar will come back in, is going to get off this Shadow Punch right here. Let's see if the opponent decides to shield this up. Going for the undercharge again, does not decide to shield. And we get a little bit of a standoff right here. Not exactly sure what happened. Looks like they just stopped attacking, both of them. But Side Shot comes through. Greedent in the back is down a shield, but should be able to win this game regardless at this point. Body Slam coming through. The opponent throwing all of their energy first, which means that Pangoro should be able to throw back-to-back close combats without having to take a move with lower defense. First one gets the shield. Second one, is this enough to knock out Greedent? Bang! Yes, it is. The fat squirrel catching all the smoke right there. Gengar coming back in, able to Shadow Claw down the Sylveon, and another big win right there for this team. Let's hop into the next battle. Believe this is the final one of the video. We got Gengar into a Gyarados, so pretty interesting matchup right here. Again, a neutral matchup, so let's see how they play this out here. Going to build up to the Shadow Ball, and like we saw in the last video, some people don't like to shield, calling the baits. Not that time. Gyarados gets taken out. Charizard comes in, going to throw the Shadow Punch right here, and then likely swap out into the Machamp. The opponent saving those shields for season 43. Going to be going for the overheat. Holy smokes. Giratina in the back. This game looks like it's probably over because Pangoro should have a pretty nice matchup here against the Shadow Claw version of Giratina. Dragon Claw comes through. Is going to be able to reach another Rock Slide right here, which will do some nice chip damage. However, this Giratina is going to get a lot of farm right here, so this game is definitely not over by any means, and they still have 2 shields as well. Big call right there to no shield a Cross Chop. That is potentially a game-winning play from the opponent. Comes in with the Gengar, is going to decide to sack it right here. Dragon Claw takes them out. Pangoro comes back in, is going to no shield against the Giratina. Now, the opponent did show overheat with the Charizard, so it's likely overheat plus Dragon Claw, we would imagine. Going for the Night Slash right here, gets the first shield, going to force the second shield, but now they need to commit to the farm down because Giratina has a bunch of energy. So if they don't commit to the farm down right here, Giratina will basically knock out the Pangoro with a move. They need to have a Night Slash ready to go. The correct play is to farm down. Not able to do it. That's going to happen sometimes. Is going to lose this game, but back-to-back 4-1 sets with this team. Personally, I really enjoyed Pangoro, and I will definitely be looking through my inventory to see if I have a Machamp ready to build for the Ultra League. Once again, a big thank you to Shower Singing 73 for the submission. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. And if you'd like to see more content like this, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.